Welcome in tonight. Welcome in tonight. Y'all, we're going to get right to it. Got a big show. Got a lot of content to unload on you tonight. Going to be talking about some iRacing and how to set up some triple monitors and some of the different graphic settings that I have that I use on my PC, right? To help you guys get started a little bit quicker setting up triples. I see a lot of people asking about it in the community page, so I thought I'd put it on here. So let's get right to it, right? This is only for iRacing. I don't know how to set up the triples for some of the other games, but I can only go into iRacing. But I'll tell you, this is what my settings look like. My resolution is 7680 by 1440. Where does that come from? If you look in, if you go to iRacing and try to find that, it doesn't exist. So how do you get that resolution? Well, that's a good question. And it all is right here. So let me share this one window though. Hang on just a second. Screen window. Where are we at? Right here? Yeah. Okay. No. Yes. No. Maybe. Okay. I guess it's not going to do it for us. Sure. Okay. Well, anyway, if you go into your documents folder, and inside that you'll find iRacing. I wish that would add a screen here. I don't understand why it will not. Here we go. All right, there we go. So here we go. Inside of your documents folder. All right. Oh, that's going to go away every time you close it. All right. Well, let me go back into that. Hang on just a second. There we go. All right. So I can't exit out, but I can go. All right. So let's just go to the desktop, right? So inside of here, inside of your documents folder, you will see your iRacing folder, which is right here. You'll click on that. Okay. You'll come down to the very bottom right here where it says render DX11. That is the file that you want to click on. Now, when you click on that, it will bring you to where we're at. We're on that screen. It will bring you to this screen here. I had this all set up and then it went kaput on me. So give me just a second here. Oh, yeah. All right, we're going to go here. There we go. All right, now, if you see this, this is your render DX11 file right here, okay? I know I have two of them open, but you're going to see why here in just a second. So when you get into this render DX11 file, scroll all the way down till you see the display portion of your render DX11 file. That is where you want to be. Let me zoom in on it. There. Now, you see this is for a 1920 by 1080 setup, right? Now, copy all of this. So what you're going to have to do is 1920 is your width of one screen, right? 1080 is the height. This is only if you're using 1920 by 1080. This other one that I have is for a 2560 by 1440. So either way, it doesn't really matter as long as you follow this formula. So your windowed POS, right, is going to be 0. Don't forget, I run borderless and not windowed. So I have no borders on my screen. Now, the big thing is where is your X POS? Since you're going to be running 3 screens, you want to bring it back to the middle one, right? So you're always going to have to go minus 1920. Everything's pulling from there. But the biggest thing here is your width on both of these. If you notice, the width here is 5760 and the width on this one is 7680. Where do you come up with those numbers? That is a good question. 2560 times 3 equals 7680, right? Your height is always going to be 1440 because you're spanning across 3 monitors. That height is always going to be the same, right? Your width is where you want to bring it from your center all the way across, right? So centered out, your width is going to be 7680 if you're running a 2560 machine. If you're on a 1920 screen, your width is going to be 5760. You always multiply that by 2. So the reason why you want to do the windowed POS minus 1920 is, like I said, it draws from there. You want to put it back in the middle. So it's got to draw it back into the middle. It flattens everything up. Now, if you look on, where's it at here? There's one that says center. Where's it at? Monitor type. Curved, monitor curved. Monitors 3. Yes, you enter in all that. So it used to have a... Sorry, it used to have a... I thought it used to have another setting on there that we had to... Oh, right here. Oh, yeah, right here. Windowed alignment 1. So none, centered, or top left. So always you're going to go back center. That's why that comes back to the minus 1920 up here on this 1920 by 1080. You want it centered, but you want to run it back into the center. Everything's going to draw from the left, right? So you want to run it back into there. So if you are 1920 by 1080, this is going to be your display settings within your render INI file. Okay. Take a screenshot of it, make everything look the same. And then when you get into your iRacing settings, make sure you're going to be able to select that. See, here's my... Oh, that goes away when I go out of that. That's such a bummer, bro. Man. That goes away each time you click off of it. That's kind of a bummer. So there we are. Now we're back. So remember, we had the 7680 by 1440. That's where all this comes from. 7680 is 2560 times 3. But if you are on 2560 by 1440, go ahead and take you a screenshot of these settings and make yours identical, and you won't have another problem. The biggest thing you can do is save your render file to your desktop, because every now and then, if you bump a power button on one of these monitors, it'll go back to a single screen and you'll be like, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit. Well, all you got to do, save that render DX11 file. Once you get it where it needs to be, save it to your desktop. And that way, if it ever screws up, you can just run it right back in. You can just click it, save it, exit the game, come back in, and it's right back to where it needs to be. So that's how you set those. We all square on that. Where are we at here? Why can't we get the screen to pull up? Alrighty. Hang on just a second, y'all. Sorry. I swear, man, sometimes you get this stuff set up and you think it's ready to go and you click out of one thing and it just absolutely loses its mind. Not a problem, though. We're going to run this here. Okay, there we go. Okay, we're going to learn about Tickfinity. How do you set up some commands on Tickfinity within your live stream? It's really simple. All you got to do is download Tickfinity. It's a simple internet download. Google Tickfinity, right? It's right up here, Tickfinity. Now, once you download this, it's TTS comes with this, right? So all you would do, you scroll down, TTS, find that. You're going to enable it. And then you can change the voices to do whatever. And then you can add custom voices here to special users. Very simple to operate. If you start with a start button, you can't really go wrong. It'll take you through the setup. But the actions and events are where all of your commands are going to be. Okay. You can run down here to actions and events. You can create an action. So one action, the last action we created was the Joe Hendry one. I can't play any of these on here because I don't want to get, here, we'll do this one, the Kyle Petty, right? So that's well, you can't hear it because TikTok's not open. That's good. That's good. So anyway, all these actions, we have created all of these actions. All right. So that's all of the videos. That's every single video, every single sound that you hear on my stream. That's all of these. That's all these that I've set up. When you create a new one, you can click on that. Let's just say test. All right. So then it'll ask you, what's the name of the action? We put test. So what should happen, right? If somebody does this action, what should happen? Well, we're just going to do show a picture. Okay. And then we can select a picture. Right there. All right. We put that picture in. I don't know what it is. The last picture we took a snip of. Okay. So then it asks, well, how long should this picture play? Right. These are all the options you have. And it says, how long should this picture be displayed? Well, we got it set for 10 seconds. And then it says, should the trigger user receive a reward or must they pay for it? You can either add points, remove points, whatever you want to do. If you are keeping points within your server, that's always fun to do. So you can they get points anytime that triggers their that specific command or this specific picture. But you're going to see how to make it a specific command. Now here's the next thing: overlay screen 1 through 8. If you only have the unpaid version of Tickfinity, you're only going to have screen 1, and you're only going to have five empty slots. So I'll take that there. The next is some cooldown, user cooldown. Global cooldown means if somebody does it, then nobody else can do it again for 10 seconds, 20 seconds, 60 seconds, whatever you set that is. That means nobody, whatever you set that at, that means nobody can redo that command. A user cooldown, that means if one person does that, that specific person can't do it for another, whatever you set that time at. So we'll save that. So now we have built an action. It's going to do a picture for 10 seconds. But what is going to trigger that action? That's what's called an event. So each action you have, if you want it to play, it must also be tied into an event. So that's what we would create next. We would create this event. So these are a little bit easier. So we want, who is going to be able to trigger this event? Everyone, any follower, a subscriber, a moderator, a giver, or a specific user. That's where I can say, okay, Durko, Senna, whatever you guys' command are, that's where we can type it in. So you type in their names, bam, we'll have a specific username. Now, by what will the event be triggered? So you guys know when Keith joins my stream and it says hiya. So I've got that sound triggered to a specific user, and I've got Keith put in there. Every time he joins, what happens? It plays that. So there you go. So trigger all of these actions, or you can trigger one of these actions. I only have one action per event because I don't want it to get real messy. But if you wanted to, like those some streams where it's somebody does a galaxy and it has several different sounds, where it's an ear grape, I think is what they call it, right? They might have 10, 15, 20 of these all in one, and it just all triggers them at once, and it's just a mashup of a bunch of sound. I don't dig that, but some people do. But don't forget, anytime you create an action up here, you have to create an event to trigger it. Very, very simple. Very, very, very simple. Anytime. Now, you can have 900 actions, but you might only have 30 events, and that's okay, because as long as not every action, sometimes you might want to take it off the board and leave it on here, but you might want to archive it, right? And you just take it off of your event list. But as long as you have an action, in order to trigger that, it must be triggered by an event, whether it be somebody jumping in your stream, somebody commented a specific command, whether it be a follower that joins, a subscriber that joins. I think you guys, the horns blow, like da, 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 whatever, when a subscriber joins my chat. So that's an action and an event that here we go. This is the event, right? So this is called sub play audio whenever somebody enters the server, right? Whenever a subscriber enters the server, it should play an audio and show a text. And then to trigger that event, let's see if I can find it. Should be way down here, huh? Should be one of the first ones, I thought. Man, I can't find it. It's on there somewhere. Man, I don't know. I'm not sure where it went, but it's on there because it does it all the time. Anyway, that was a bad example, but anytime you create an action, you have to create an event to trigger that action. Really simple. All right, moving on. So we're going to start talking about some different things around here every now and then. NHRA. This is my first love of motorsport. I grew up drag racing. My dad was a drag racer growing up. Local drag racer in Nashville, Tennessee, up at Union Hill Drag Strip. Raced at Clarksville, raced at Buffalo Valley, raced all around Middle Tennessee, Bowling Green, Huntsville, and did a national tour back in the 80s of IHRA and NHRA and sportsman racing. But this weekend, the NHRA 4 wide nationals are coming up. I don't know who all knows about drag racing, but you put 4 of these things on the line, that is an absolute power just sitting there idling. I've had I've been fortunate enough. I've been to, I don't know, probably a dozen national events in my life. I don't understand why NHRA doesn't get as much following as it does. I'm still trying to figure that out because man, your basic ticket is a pit pass, right? You can go from the stands back to the pits, watch them tear everything down in between runs. You get to meet the drivers. You can interact with the guys. Like, NHRA is awesome as far as the fan experience. Heck, even like you watch a car run, hauling ass. You can talk about it. By the time you get done talking about it and you're ready for the next pair, they're about to go down the track, right? But especially in the sportsman categories, man, the sportsman categories, they can hot lap those things, and it stays pretty busy all day long if you're sitting in the stands and watching cars. And for the fan and the fan experience of motorsports, man, you can't beat NHRA. I don't, like I said, growing up, that's all I did was drag race. I don't understand how everybody doesn't like NHRA. Let me get a new picture in here for you guys. Okay, so earlier on my stream, right? Basics of drag racing. I know there's a lot of people that know a lot of things about drag racing. There's a lot of people that know all the basic stuff and probably would think that, man, that's pretty stupid. Why would you say something that's so basic? Well, not everybody knows the lingo of everything. So you might hear the term Christmas tree. That is the official starter, I guess, if you will, not starter, but the official starting mechanism of an NHRA or any other form of drag racing. There's two lasers set back from the tree. We're going to call it the tree. Two lasers that go across each lane. One laser is broken. That's the pre-stage beam. The second laser is the stage beam. Now, in order to start a drag race, pre-stage and the stage must be lit. They can, this is getting technical, they can roll through the beam a little bit and this top light will go out, but that's called deep staging. That is legal in the pro categories. It's not legal in some of the sportsman categories. Some of it is. We're not going to get into that. This is a Christmas tree. You can kind of see why, right? It lights up. It's got all bunch of different colors. Some series have individual lights that come down. Some series, all three of these lights flash at the same time, and then the green light comes on. So as you can see, a Christmas tree, right? It lights up and it's fun. Hang on just a second. I gotta sneeze. Oof, wow, sorry. So now also, if they're having and then some of the pro categories, sometimes they have what's called a staging duel, where both cars will run in and light the pre-stage beams, and then they'll sit there because there's an advantage to being the last car to roll into the beams. Um, when you're going in, you can get the motor up off idle way more efficiently if you know when those bottom bulbs are gonna light. So from there, you only got 7 seconds, right? If both cars are pre-staged, one car rolls in, the other car only has 7 seconds to go ahead and then move into stage. So this is a Christmas tree. This is the starting mechanism for a drag race. Any drag race that you see, NHRA is going to have a Christmas tree, and that's how the races are going to be started. Generally speaking, a racetrack is 1,320 foot long, a quarter mile, except for Funny Car and Top Fuel. They run on a 1,000 foot track. Unfortunately, back in 2008, I believe it was, Scott Coletta had a very, very tragic fatal wreck, and they cut the track back from 1,320 feet to 1,000 feet, which brings me to my next subject. Holy speed, Batman! Holy speed, Batman! If you think about it, they went from 1,000 foot, from 1,320 to 1,000 foot back in 2008. Now, this is just for the fuel categories, Top Fuel and Funny Car. These 4 categories here. So they cut 320 feet off of it, but look at our speed records and look when they were set. Top Fuel, Brittany Force, 338 mile an hour, almost 339 mile an hour, 11/11 of 2022. Wow. So they're going faster now in 1,000 foot than they were going in a quarter mile. Look at this funny car pass by Tasca. No, I'm sorry. Alsterbrock, 341 miles an hour. 341 miles an hour in 2024 on 1,000 foot from a standing start, 1,000 foot down the track, less than a quarter of a mile. They were going 341 miles an hour. And let me tell you how that's clocked. It's not clocked from the starting line to the finish line. There's a ET cone, which is your elapsed time cone at the end of the track. Well, just before the ET cone, there's what's called the speed cone, right? So at the end of the track, when you break that beam at the speed cone and then you break the beam at the ET cone, it knows how long it took you from get to here to here, and that's measuring your top end speed. It just there's a formula there, right? If it takes you 0.2 seconds to move 30 feet, it knows how long your speed in between that. That's how speed is calculated in drag racing. It's not obviously there's time, which is calculated from the start to the finish. Speed is only calculated from the end of the track, because that's how you can watch a top fueled race, pro stock race, whatever it may be, and you can see somebody run completely different, completely same elapsed times, ETs, but the mile an hours be 3, 4, 5 different mile an hour. That's all it has to do with clutch and setup and everything. That's for another conversation. But if you look at these speeds, man, like it's insane. 341 mile an hour in a full body funny car. That is absolutely nuts. And to think that some people like they can go that fast in that little bit of time is crazy. Like I said, coming up this weekend, the 4 wide nationals at Las Vegas. I don't know how to explain how cool an NHRA race is from the overall experience as a fan, as a competitor, just being there, listening to it. You can hear these things. You think you can hear a cup race from a long way away. You get around a drag strip and you put 4 of these on the line and let them launch at one time, and it's like 8,000 horsepower a piece or more. I think probably more by now. They make some serious ground pounding noise, and if I'm hoping that you guys start watching it, because here's our TV. Here's our TV schedule for this weekend. All right, so qualifying is going to be on FS1 on Friday night. Oh, so that's bam. Friday night qualifying, the night of lights. That is the most epic time to watch NHRA qualifying. That's when you're going to see all the flames out of the headers. Everything's going to be bright. It's going to be a show. It's going to be absolutely a good time to watch. So, qualifying, Friday night qualifying, this Friday night, obviously tomorrow night, starting at 9:30 to 11 on FS1. Saturday morning, there's some more qualifying on FS1, and then finals. The finals are Sunday night, 6:30 p.m. They're going to give you. What they'll do is they'll come on at 6:30. They're going to show you the first rounds of Top Fuel Funny Car Pro Stock. They're going to show you the second rounds and the third rounds, and then we'll get ready to go right into the finals. NHRA is very, very unique as far as how these cars are worked on and whatnot during the race. They have 75 minutes, right? 90 minutes in between rounds. So if they have an oil down, if they grenade an engine, if they burn anything up, they've only got a limited amount of time to fix it. And sometimes they will completely disassemble a motor, put a new one in. They go through all the clutches. These things got like 7 or 8 clutch disc. They go through all those, measure the wear on them, reseat all those, replace them, and then they'll have to reseat it in the pit stall, garage, pits. And that's the cool thing there, walking through the garage and seeing, or not seeing, but Hey Don, thank you, bro. Sorry I missed your message there. Sorry, bro. I just saw the chat there. Damn it, now I just lost my concentration. Totally lost where I was at. Totally lost where I was at. But okay, yeah. You're walking through the pits, man. They start reseating these clutches in between rounds. They warm it up, and it's just I don't know. Drag racing is absolutely fun, and I'm hoping that it starts to catch on a little bit more. I grew up in drag racing. Love it, love it, love it. Hopefully everybody starts getting on board with it. We're going to start talking more about it here on my page. I'm going to start talking more about NHRA on this show. But to close out the show tonight, look, guys, happy hour racing. Apparel, hats, t-shirts, whatever it may be. Code ATYL 2025 will get you a little discount. Look, they've got the Barry Cup win, the Allgaier Cup win, some apparel for that. They've got a really, really, really cool. Oh, I'm sorry, there was Zillage, Jeff Gordon. They've got this $1 million bill hat. Man, you guys want any merchandise? Happyhourracing.com. They've got some subscription boxes that you can do a monthly merch box, basically. They're going to take good care of you. Friends with Above the Yellow Line. Use code ATYL2025 to get you a little discount on your purchase. But as for me, as for the show, we're going to go ahead and get on out of here tonight. I've got I had a lot had a lot of work this morning and been gone all day. But I appreciate everyone for tuning in tonight. Looks like we had a pretty good crowd. Yeah. Hey, if anybody has any questions about setting up triple monitors, please reach out to me. I'm only a message away. If anybody has any questions or any ideas, any questions you guys have about NHRA, whatever it may be, guys, please reach out to us here at Above the Yellow Line. We'd love to answer your questions. Here to help you. But as for me, I'm out. As what was that? I don't know. Sorry. Anyway, we're gonna get on out of here. For Big Duke and Above the Yellow Line Media, you guys keep digging. Big Duke.